Today I'd like to show you how to reglaze a Marvin Essential direct glaze window. It's also known as a all Ultrex Marvin window. So let's get started. So first we'll go ahead and take our number 2 and number 1 most used tool and remove these glazing stops. Be sure to save this stop and set it to the side. So now that we got these removed, when we take the glass out, we don't want it to fall. If you're by yourself, you may just want to barely put one of those in there just to hold the glass in place so it doesn't fall in when you cut off the sealant, and maybe put the other one over there and just barely put that one in like that, just so it can hold the glass in place. Okay, first we'll go ahead and start with a rounded putty knife. Do not use a square edge putty knife, because if you use a square edge, it'll dig into the fiberglass here. So we'll go ahead and get started with a few light passes. And each time you go in, just go a little deeper. Don't try to do it all at once. Never leave your putty knife in the glass like that, or your glass can shatter.
Okay.
So for safety, if you want to add a glass cup to the glass to hold on to, and also can give you some leverage as you cut the silicone. Okay, now that he's got a bulk of the silicone cut, we're going to go ahead and remove these stops, holding this, and I can slowly pull on the glass as it continues to cut. Sometimes from the factory, when they put sealant on the frame of the glass, it can squeeze out here. So sometimes you may have to take a putty knife and go around the glass. Be real careful of the corner of the glass not to hit that, or you can shatter it. But you may have to take the putty knife and go around the perimeter on the inside as well. Oop. Knew that was going to happen. So if you're dealing with a piece of glass that's already broken or shattered, say if it was tempered glass, don't be afraid to take some packing tape and tape up the entire surface area of the glass. This one, since it's shattered because there was a couple pinch points on this, to keep glass from going any further, we're going to go ahead and tape this window up. Okay, with that taped up, we're going to go ahead and continue to put constant, steady pressure on the glass so that silicone can tear. Watch the edges of the glass, it's going to be sharp. So now we got to remove all this silicone here. It doesn't have to be perfectly clean. I find the best thing is my number 1 tool, which is a sharpened flat blade. And you're going to go along and take off all this sealant. Okay, we'll vacuum all this up. Go ahead and put a nice thick bead of silicone here. You can use Dow 1199 or 796, or this stuff that Marvin sent us, a nice thick bead. So when we put the glass in there, there's going to be plenty of squeeze out. So when ordering your glass, on your existing window, you're going to have a serial number here. On this one, it's in the lower left-hand corner because the size of the glass, but typically that serial number is going to be in the upper right-hand corner from the inside looking out. If you give us this number here, you may need a magnifying glass to see it, but if you give us this number here, that'll tell us the size and everything about this window. So when we put this new piece of glass in, we want to make sure that the serial number is to the inside. Typically, 90% of the time, it's going to be in the upper right-hand corner, but this one's going to be in the lower left, and we'll go ahead and install that glass. I'm going to go ahead and set the base of the glass in on the bottom. Push it in and push around the entire perimeter until there's plenty of squeeze out. So we're pushing on the glass to make sure there's plenty of squeeze out. You don't want to see any voids in the silicone. A void meaning, of course, where you don't see silicone. As you can see here, there's a little connecting barb. That goes into this kerf right here, and it fits in there like that. So we need to go ahead and line up this stop and push down, make sure this is seated properly so there's no gap here. While my partner's setting on his setting box, I'm gonna go ahead and take some isopropyl alcohol and some water mix. I got like a little squeegee I'm gonna use, and I'm gonna clean up all this excess silicone. Go ahead and we'll just spray some of that on there. And we're gonna go ahead and just clean that up. There we go. Of course, in a couple of days, you can cut it off if you choose to. You can just use a razor, but this is usually the safest and best way to do it, in my opinion. Now, when you're done doing all this, be sure to wait at least 3 or 4 days before you actually clean the glass, because you don't want to get any glass cleaner on this silicone. So even though I said not to clean this for 3 or 4 days, I'm going to go ahead and just clean this center section. Be careful not to get any of this glass cleaner on the silicone itself. Well, there you go. That's how I reglaze a Marvin Essential, also known as a Marvin All-Trex direct glaze window. And if you found this video informative, please consider hitting the subscribe button below. Thank you for watching and have a great day.